Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
Welcome to Successful Dropout. This podcast is for the outliers, the innovators, the rebels, those that dare to dream and act on their dreams. I'm your host, Kylan Ginger. Join me as we find out what it takes to drop out, grind, and succeed as an entrepreneur. What's up, Successful Dropouts? Get stoked, because today on the show we have Sam Forline. Sam is a serial entrepreneur and visionary leader with the keen ability to transform emerging market opportunities into highly successful ventures. He established Blue Collar Scholars in 2013, hiring college students to perform much-needed tasks in their local communities. Earning well over $1,000 a day within 2 years of operation, Sam channeled those funds to develop Scholar App Studios, a mobile app development company. He then went on to create Sam Forline Consulting, a viral marketing, consulting, and website development company. Some of his other accomplishments include him and his team promoting a paid app to the number 2 spot on Apple iTunes, and he also served as director of organizations against ALS and was largely responsible for the success of the viral Ice Bucket Challenge movement. So Sam, that's the intro I have for you, but tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do.
Hey, yeah, first of all, thanks for having me on the show, man. I love what you're trying to do with the successful dropout image. Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, all those guys, man. Mark Zuckerberg, they all dropped out, and they serve a good example for people who don't want to follow the rules. I would like to start out by saying, I'm kind of lazy. I kind of don't like listening to direction. I don't like being told what to do. If someone tells me to do something, I usually try to think of a way I can prove them wrong or try to do it better than what they're doing. I'll tweak it in order to have it, fit what I want. And in that, I can try to prove someone wrong, create a business, or just do better than someone else. That's basically my natural genetics right there.
Tell us a little bit more about kind of the businesses that you're involved in right now.
Yeah, great. So I started out basically going door to door. I wasn't given money. I was never given cash to start a business. I was never like, hey, Sam, here's $10,000. Go start a business. I started out going door to door, asking for yard work, because knocking on the door saying, hey, do you guys have any yard work I can do? I was turned down about, 80 to 70 times, but, eventually some people wanted yard work being done, and I realized I could make money off of it. I did some more studying, and I realized that landscapers charge $50 to $60 an hour per person. In my area. I live in Bethesda, Maryland, close to Washington, D.C. And $50 an hour is a lot to me, especially when I was 23, 22 first doing this. I realized, wow, that's a lot of money. So what I did is I started to charge less and to do these jobs, started making a little money. And of course, I had this idea before when I was a teenager. I kind of realized that everybody had a lawn. Everybody had grass to cut. Everybody had weeds to pull. Everybody has plants to take care of and all that stuff. And I kind of obsess over it. I tell everybody that, I'm going to make a lot of money doing this. And everyone's like, okay, yeah, Sam. I never really made money. It wasn't until I was in my early 20s that I kind of formulated an idea called Blue Collar Scholars, meaning we're scholars doing blue collar work. And we focus on landscaping, and basically with a lot of different types of marketing tactics and stuff, we started to explode as a business, and that basically established me as an entrepreneur.
But Sam, here at Successful Dropout, we are all about helping young college-age students go from leaving school early to becoming successful entrepreneurs. And the first step there is that scary decision on whether or not to leave school. So I want you to take us back to that period of time and tell us the story of why you decided that was the best decision for you.
It really, a lot of it was pride. First of all, everyone's going to school, right? That's just the foundation, the norm. Everybody should go to school. Everybody should get a degree. Everybody should either become a doctor or a lawyer or work for the government. You got to get that piece of paper. You got to get good grades. You got to follow that. When in reality, if you think about it in a business sense, if everybody is doing the same thing, right? What is the reward of that? Everybody's going to get the same little piece, right? If everybody's going after the same pie, and basically, what I saw is people who are taking risks and people who are trying to do their own thing. Those are the people who really made money, right? Bill Gates, multi-billionaire. Mark Zuckerberg, multi-billionaire. They all didn't go through the college route. And they did their own things. For me, it wasn't so much necessarily that I, had a brilliant idea, dropped out and started making out a lot of money. I actually partied too much. And I this is the truth. I was not focused on school. I was not focused on being a responsible member of society, and I dropped out. And it created a lot of shame for me. It created a lot of, oh no, what do I do now kind of thing. But then also it created me a blank canvas. It allowed me to start from ground zero and assess what I had, what I could do. And remember, I'm 25 years old, and right now it's 2016. When I was going through college, the Great Recession just happened, right? Mm-hmm. And the Great Recession just happened, and nobody could find jobs.
Right.
People who were getting out of college were complaining. They were going to work as waiters. They were going to work as, they were working at the YMCA. They were working as lifeguards. They were doing these little things, and everyone was complaining. Nobody was happy, yet everyone was spending tens of thousands of dollars on their college degree.
Yeah.
So, me messing up and then cleaning up eventually allowed me to realize that, hey, maybe I shouldn't be as unhappy as everybody else and get in all that debt to spend for college. Why don't I look at skills, and why don't I just become better than my competition? And that's really when I started to become successful. When I realized, hey, that if somebody else has done something, I could do it too. There's nothing stopping me because I have the same tools as that person. Mm-hmm. Or even better yet, it's 2016, 2015. There are more tools available for me now to succeed than it was when that person started in the 90s or 80s, when they didn't have computers, they didn't have mass marketing tactics. And B, that, I could develop these skills myself, and I can grow a business around it. And luckily it just worked for me.
And that's such a great point. And that's the point I try to drive home here, is that it is easier now more than ever to start your own business. I mean, the world is so connected. You can learn about anything, anytime, anywhere. I think it's even easier to get funding nowadays for great ideas.
Oh,
and so, people have this, students I think have this idea where when they leave college and say their first business idea doesn't work out, they're just going to be broke on the street, cooking over an open flame with, just crying. And the reality is that is not the reality. There's so much opportunity out there. So
it's ridiculous because there is so much opportunity. And the thing is, it's the entrepreneur's paradise right now, with all this technology and everything exponentially changing. I mean, I just heard the news. Sports Authority is going out of business, right? Since when would that ever happen? Guess what? They're too big of a company to be able to maneuver around and be able to think of clever things and change their direction. They're too big. Guess what? Entrepreneurs are very small. Newly entrepreneurs, you can change your business idea overnight. You can change what you're doing overnight. You can say, oh, this isn't working. Oh, all of a sudden my customers want this. Great. Let's change our product or service. Let's go that way. And that's the benefit of being a small-time entrepreneur. You can cut out the competition because they're already established. For them to change, for them to move differently and try to get, go into a different path of selling or providing different services, it's hard. It's not cost effective. Probably costs lots of money, lots of time. Whereas a small entrepreneur right now can, in a drop of a ball, can change their idea, change their service, and meet consumers' demand.
Absolutely, and I see that happening everywhere too. Are you familiar with I think it's called the $1 Shave Club?
Yes.
Something like that. Yeah, that's a great example of kind of the little guy, the agile entrepreneur that, they just took over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's everywhere. I can't go online without seeing them anymore.
Yeah. So Sam, when you decided to kind of make that transition, and how did your friends and family react to you dropping out? Were they supportive or worried?
My parents, have always been my biggest supporters, and I love them dearly, and I have a great relationship with them now. They were worried, of course, because I did grow up in a middle class society where you're supposed to go to school, get a job, and all that stuff. And I, of course, did not take that path. I instead partied and enjoyed myself too much, and then did not get a job, refused to get a job, and experimented on my own ideas. I don't think, they never put the foot down on me and said, Sam, you need to change your ways right now, do this and that. They're very loving throughout the time, but now things are great. Now that I'm making good money, now that I have a proven system of income, now that I employ other people, now that I'm making a difference in the community, where I can now give speeches to schools, I inspire other people. I try to help people out where I can. I think I'm becoming a lot more acceptable in what I do. But yes, when I first started, it can be, nobody in this society today, nobody likes somebody who goes against the status quo. Right, it's just like somebody walking down the street with no pants or shirt. Right, you're just like, that's not normal. Hey, what are you doing? That's illegal. Call the police. Right. It's not normal to be in your early 20s and start a business. And I oh my goodness, even this year was my best year ever. I've had people sit down, to say, Sam, don't you want to go back to college and get that degree? And, I really try not to get back, and I really try not to get into fights with them. And, I really try not to tell them like, oh, how much money I made that day, or, hey, I have college graduates who work for me now, I try not to do that. I just listen to them and smile because the customer is always right. But yeah, things are definitely at a good point right now in terms of acceptability.
Does your family have any history of entrepreneurship?
No, my parents are both, they both work for the government. They both work for, my mom is a IT project manager for GSA. It's a General Service Administration inside the government. And my dad is an economist, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And I think it's perfect because even though they're not entrepreneurs, my mom has this boss side to her, very, very fair, but very firm. She gets things done. She's very responsible. She's a good leader. People love her. I took that side from her. And then my dad is he's a penny pincher. He still, it's 2016 and he still owns a 1990 Toyota Camry and has never bought another car. He won't go out and spend. I don't think he's bought in clothes in the last 22 years. All his clothes has holes in them. And, I kind of mix those two personalities together, I guess. One, I'm very careful with my money. I don't spend money unless I have to. I don't spend money unless it's growing my business. I have this saying that, you're either spending money or you're making money. There is no in between, right? So I tell my friends this. I say, when they ask me, for advice or something, I say, is this purchase going to help you make money? Or is this purchase a depreciating asset, and is it not going to help you make money? It's an either or category, right? Like, hey, is that dress really going to make you money? Are you going to, you're about to spend $200 on that dress, Jennifer? And are you really going to, is that going to help you make money? Or, are you going to invest into advertisements for your services? That will make you money. And eventually $200 for a dress won't mean anything in a couple of years if you keep that attitude up. You know what I mean?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Sam, somebody who's in that position where they've decided that leaving college is probably the best thing, they want to become an entrepreneur, and let's say they don't have the kind of support that you felt with your family, what advice would you give to somebody like that?
So, this is really important, and it took me a long time to realize, find something you can make money quickly with. For me, I really did start out selling soccer services. I was coaching soccer, and I charged $50 an hour. Right there, I had income, right? With landscaping, right? That's quick cash. That day I made money, right?
Right.
You need to figure out something. The best way to shut up the people who are doubting you is to make money that day, make money that week. Show that, hey, look, I just made $1,000 this week, and this is my first year starting out. Imagine if I have 10 years experience, I could make $10,000. What if I duplicate myself, or I teach somebody how to do what I'm doing, and I train them, and then have 10 people doing it? Wow, it's $10,000 right there. Start simple. Really don't talk about it too much, right? You can say whatever the hell you want. You can say, I'm going to make $1 million. Oh, I'm going to make this app. It's going to make $10 million. Great. Go do it, right? You gotta actually do it. And this is what I talk about all the time when I go into schools to speak. Are you ever going to learn how to throw a football by sitting down and taking notes? No, you got to get out there and try to throw the football. Even if you mess up, just keep trying. You got to practice. Business is a practice. Skill sets are practice. They're not learned from paper and pen or just thinking about things. You actually have to put tire to rubber to asphalt. You got whatever that saying is. I don't even know.
Right.
But you got to put your theory to the test. You got to try it out, and you can't. And this was another big thing for me. You can't fall in love with an idea. No matter how much you love the idea, no matter how you think it's going to make you $1 million or $1 billion, guess who your boss is? Your consumer. You're never, even if you're an entrepreneur, you're never really the CEO, because the people who are using your products, using your services, they're the ones in charge because they decide whether or not they use you or not, right?
Right.
So that was a hard thing for me. I kept on holding on to these ideas, say, oh, this is going to work. This is going to work. Guess what? No one was biting. No one was paying me money for it. And I had to swallow my pride. Basically, my success story came into swallowing my pride, realizing I wasn't right all the time, and taking suggestions, asking for help, and just trying it out and being honest with myself. Is this working? No. Okay, what else now? Let me try it. Is this working? Yes. Okay, let's go with yes, even if I don't like it. That's just what you got to do.
Yeah. What do you remember what your biggest fear was about dropping out, and how did you manage that?
It was my pride, I think. And because everybody, nowadays it's like, oh, what do you do? Oh, you didn't graduate from college. Immediately you feel lesser than, right?
Right. Yeah.
That was really tough for me. And now that I'm making a little bit of money, it kind of, I can say, oh, well, I own this. I give speeches at schools now. I do this. I feel a little better, but that's not the point. But, it really was that the insecurity, right? That, oh, I didn't go through school. I didn't get that degree. But what made me feel better was seeing all the people who had gotten their degrees, that had spent tens to $50,000 on their degree. They were not having any luck finding good jobs. In fact, they were working at burger shops and pizza places and serving tables and pouring coffee. So that made me feel better.
Yeah, I bet. Now, Sam, this next question is important to our listeners because, it's one thing to make that decision to drop out and say, okay, this is the best decision for me and what I want to do with my life. But those first several months after you leave are scary because you're out of the system, you're into the real world. So tell us about what you did those first few months after you left.
I kept trying, right? Because you get scared. Like you said, it's scary. And I think you should have your fear drive you, right? You should be scared to fail. A lot of people say, oh, don't be afraid to fail. No, I think you should be afraid to fail, not so much that it paralyzes you, but that so that it makes you work really hard to make sure you don't fail, right? So by dropping out of college, you're taking a big risk, right? You're saying, I'm going to try something different, and guess what? You better succeed, because if you don't, you're going to look like a fool. You're going to people aren't going to like you, this and that. But, the truth is, what I did is I used it as a fear motivator, right? Okay, I'm a college dropout. I better have something to show. I don't want to be like, oh, yeah, I dropped out of college. I'm making a little money now, right? No, I want to be like, hey, I dropped out of college and I became successful. I have this company. These people are working for me. I provide this service, and we are doing a damn good job, and I stand by my work 100%. And with that, your fear will subside, and you will start to be confident, and and then you can be a proud college dropout, as they say.
So you gave us kind of a background on Blue Collar Scholars. Tell us a little bit about Scholar App Studios.
Great. I'm glad you brought that up. And I haven't done interviews in a long time because I've focused back on business. Yeah. So what I did do was I did start making good money with Blue Collar Scholars. And then I had this grandiose idea that, okay, let's venture into other businesses. Let's do other businesses now. Let's make, let's start 3 other businesses. And I did start an app development company, which I still have. But we have made apps. We make iOS and Android apps. But I will tell you, I'm going to be very honest. I quickly learned that it's very hard to do a couple things at once, especially when you're starting a new business, right? So yeah, I still have the potential. If you were to come to me with $100,000, yeah, we can make you an app. But I'm not focusing on that anymore. Because it took me, like I said in the beginning, how you can't fall in love with an idea. I fell in love with the idea that I can manage 3 businesses at once. I did okay for a little bit, but guess what? I need to suck up my pride, and I need to focus on Blue Collar Scholars, the real moneymaker, and let my other dream go until maybe I make $20 million, and then I can do whatever I want. You know what I mean?
Right. So that brings me to the next question which is, what are you focused on right now, or how are you generating revenue today?
Great. Yeah. So it's all Blue Collar Scholars. I do some consulting, samforline.com. People want, direct business advice and stuff like that, but I do not pursue it. I do not advertise it anymore. I solely focus on what's making me the most money, which is Blue Collar Scholars, and that is landscaping services. And my idea with that is to make it into such a successful landscaping company and continue to brand Blue Collar Scholars, and then become a multi-service company, right? So once we get landscaping done, next we do painting. And then once we get painting involved in there, then we do a little construction. Maybe we add some additions. Maybe we do kitchen remodel or bathroom remodeling. I'm gonna keep it really simple, because that's quite frankly what works, right? You keep it really simple. You focus on one thing, you build on it, and then you expand. And that's exactly what I'm focusing on right now.
So the basic concept of the business is you're taking college students that are needing to earn some cash on the side and giving them odd jobs to do, landscaping jobs.
Yes. So that is our marketing go-to. We represent ourselves because, you hear so many landscaping companies, Broadway landscaping or Mario Brothers landscaping, or, any kind of landscaping company. What I am trying to do, and it works for the most part, is I'm trying to brand ourselves as friendly local neighbors doing these jobs. College graduates, people that live down the street from you that you can feel good giving money to. And that's a basis for any company that does extremely well, right? And I like to say this in my speeches too. Subway, right? Subway is very successful now with their sandwiches, and you have to remember when they came about. It was in the era when McDonald's and Burger King were getting a lot of negative criticism for how bad their food was for everybody, right? Yeah. Well, guess what? Subway came in and said, "Eat fresh, lose weight with us." They came in as the exact opposite angle, and guess what? They're a huge success right now. So what I'm basically doing at a small level, and I'm starting small where I'm actually making money, and I'm not trying to shoot too big where I could collapse and fail, is I'm applying that at the landscaping level, and then I'm going to grow on that. So that's exactly what I'm doing.
Awesome. So as entrepreneurs, we experience a lot of ups and downs, and you've certainly accomplished a lot. You've embarked on many different ventures. Tell us about your worst entrepreneurial moment. Tell us that story.
Oh, man. One, I'll tell you right now, one of our trucks, the trucks we use, the main trucks, is it looks like it's about to be totaled. We got hit from behind. That stinks. I'm having to deal with someone else's insurance to fix it. But that's another story. Entrepreneur, my worst entrepreneur fail, there's a couple. One, when I first started when I was 19, I told everybody, I blabbed my mouth off. I told everybody of what a great success I was going to be, how much money I'm going to make, how successful I was going to be, that, I was going to be a multi-millionaire. I was telling my friends, I'm going to make you COO. I'm going to make you a partner, make you president of the company. And guess what? Nothing accumulated of it. And I got really depressed afterwards. Right. So the whole idea that I was going to become a success because I'd had these ideas, but guess what? I didn't put tires to the ground or whatever. I didn't try to work it. I didn't go through that. So, and most recently is when a customer gets upset. You work so hard and you charge good money for your services. And then there are going to be times, I used to be able to say that I never had an unsatisfied customer, but now that we've gotten a lot bigger and we're taking on a lot bigger projects, sometimes things go wrong and they can't be in your control. And the biggest upset for me is having a customer not be happy with our services, because I am very sensitive. I'm a perfectionist. I take pride in my work. And when somebody tells me I didn't do a good job and yet I charge them money, I feel terrible. So that's just and the truth is and what's his name? Not Bill Gates. Steve Jobs says this. Because it's really hard to be an entrepreneur, because the couple things I described I've been through. He says that the thing that determines a successful entrepreneur from an unsuccessful entrepreneur is pretty much perseverance. That's pretty much it. And I'm starting to really agree with that. It's all about perseverance, because you're going to go some really tough times. You're going to go through some times where you're going to lose a lot of money. If you're lucky, you're going to go through some times where you're going to make money and then lose it maybe. And there's going to be some times where just partnerships fall through, things with clients fall through. There's a billion things that could go wrong. And, a lot of those bad things are going to happen. And really what really does determine whether or not you're successful or not is if you go through it. If you're able to take the hits and keep going. And up till this point, I can't talk about the future, but up until this point, I have taken the punches and I've kept going. And that's why I've done what I've done today. And that's pretty much it.
Now, taking us back again with your entrepreneurial journey, what was a time when you had an aha moment, when something just clicked? And what do you want our listeners to learn from that moment?
Yeah. The biggest breakthrough with me was strategic marketing. and in basically going to differentiate yourself from the competition. So I made these, and it doesn't. You don't have to be in the landscaping business. You can apply this tactic to anywhere else, right? I put up these signs that say "We do yard work" with exclamation points, and with weeding, mulching, mowing, tree removal, all that stuff. But the whole fact of saying we do yard work, who doesn't need yard work done, right?
Right.
So instead of saying landscaping, landscaping sounds like it's lots of money, right? Landscaping sounds like it's lots of money. It sounds like a big box company is going to do it. We put up nice, friendly signs. And remember, this is an era of emoticons. This is an era of exclamation points and being able to express your emotions through boxes and your computer, right?
Right.
So we put those exclamation points behind the "We do yard work," and that's when my business exploded. People loved the signs. People loved how friendly they are. I've had plenty of customers say there was just something about your signs. I felt like so happy calling them. And then when I pick up the phone, they go, "Hello, is this Blue Collar Scholar?" Like, so happy to call. You got to find a brilliant way to market your product. And that really is the aha moment, because, you can have a good product, but if you're not catching people's attention, if you're not, really what it is, it's pulling on people's emotions. It's making them feel a certain type of way. Like, oh, that's cute. Let's buy that cute puppy, right? Or let's give money to the homeless. I feel terrible for them. You have to pull on someone's emotion, or else you're just going to become another company that they're going to pull up on the directory. And I'll tell you this much, man. When you're pulling on someone's emotion and they feel like they love your company, they love what you're doing, guess what? You're going to make more money because the price isn't going to be too much of a factor. It's the people who aren't into the emotions who are asking, how cheap is this? How cheap is this? But if they love what you're doing, they love who you're standing for, if they love the reason why you're doing these things, money doesn't become so much of a factor because they feel good hiring you. They feel like they're doing a good service, and they feel like they're helping out. And that was the aha moment, that the marketing piece of Blue Collar Scholars.
If you had to describe what specific emotions you were making your customers feel with those signs, what would you say they were?
Because, all right, so the signs were very enthusiastic, very vibrant, right? So they felt like they were helping out young people. They felt like they were helping out the little man in the world. They felt like, oh, I'm going to help this guy out. So they felt good about helping out. They felt good about giving back. And that's what really sold the company.
Right, because they're helping kids pay their way through college.
Exactly.
So, Sam, I love this question. If you could time travel back to day one of your entrepreneurial journey and have 10 minutes with your former self to communicate any lessons you've acquired with the intention of saving yourself mistakes and heartache, what would you tell yourself?
Oh, God. First of all, I think mistakes are great. Mistakes of what has led me here today. So I wouldn't tell myself to not make certain mistakes. I would tell myself, go right now, drop everything, start right now, hit the ground running. Don't worry about what anyone else says. Just go. And because I would say that because it's all trial and error. We can sit down and think of brilliant business plans, but like I said, nothing really precipitates unless you're actually trying, unless you're actually knocking on doors, unless you're actually getting cash flow, unless people are actually paying for your services and having you back again because you have good services or good product. That's the only way you're going to find success. So, the same answer I give to anyone else: just stop what you're doing right now and go out there. Stop planning. Just try it. Dude, I can't tell you how many times I try to bring people on, right? You think they know all this about marketing, right? They're telling me what to do. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, just be quiet and do it. Show me I don't want to hear what will happen. I don't want to hear about it. Show me. And then, you know what? They don't do it. And that's a lesson I've learned. You can't trust anything unless it's done. And it's nothing cold, because I try to have a big heart. I try to help people out. It's nothing cold or untrustworthy. It's just a fact of life that saves me money. I'm not going to give anyone money unless they're doing something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you seen that YouTube video with Shia LaBeouf in front of the green screen? The Just Do It video? Yeah.
Yeah. What's up with that guy? Is that guy all right? Is he sober? What's going on?
I'm not sure, man. Well, Sam, what is a personal habit that contributes to your success?
It's a blessing and a curse. It's I worry a lot, and I'm a perfectionist. And I'll tell you why it's a blessing. I'll tell you why it's a blessing first. One, because I don't like getting things wrong. So ultimately, my customers are always very happy because I'll get something done. Two, but what's a curse about it is I lose sleep over losing. I lose sleep over not making the right decisions. I don't feel good unless I'm doing, unless I've done the best I can. So, it's a terrible blessing and curse, because I won't quit until I get it right. So, a lot of the work we do and the training I do and the people I develop through my methods, we become a solid company. We provide a great service. We do a great job, but also, it's very emotionally tolling. Because you can't be perfect. And this is something that I am trying to learn as we speak. I'm trying to find that balance of it's okay not to be perfect. It's okay not to be the best. Because guess what? It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And I am just figuring that out now.
Dude, I feel like you're describing me. Just well said. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you consider to be success as an entrepreneur? It's, success is relative. So what is success for you?
God, success for me as an entrepreneur is basically someone actually going out there and never giving up and actually making a business out of it. Because, the truth is, it used to be to me that money wasn't that big of a factor. It was all about show. It's all about what you could say you've done and all that stuff. But in reality, money is an important factor of the society. You need to have health insurance. You need to be able to pay doctor's bills. You need to be able to have a roof over your head. You need to be able to eat and drink water, clean water. So, a successful entrepreneur is somebody who takes an idea and is able to develop it very nimbly into something that actually makes money, that makes a revenue, and disrupts an industry and takes a piece of the pie of the industry basically from nothing.
Yeah. And so is that for you personally, that's what you consider success, for yourself?
Yeah. And right now I have been successful, knock on wood. Like I said earlier, man, I realized, I don't know what tomorrow is going to hold. But right now we have been pretty successful, and I'm happy. I'm happy with our progress. I am very happy with our progress.
What book would you recommend to us, and why?
That's a good question, because I don't read. I hate getting these questions on interviews. Everyone always asks me, what book should you read? I listen to a lot of speeches. So what I'm going to say is listen to TED Talks.
Yeah.
TED Talks is one of the most influential things that has ever happened to me. And two of my favorite TED Talks are the body language TED Talk, and the other one is what makes a good life. And I'll sum it up real quick. You can make millions of dollars. You can become the best doctor in the world. You can do all this, become the best athlete in the world, and it cannot make you happy, or that's not the deciding factor on what's happiness or not. What makes people happy is the relationships they have. It's the relationships they develop and the level of intimacy they have with other people. that's what makes you happy. And then the other TED Talk, which is the body language, we are made up of we have a lot of hormones and serotonin, and we have a bunch of different endorphins that regulate how we feel. And believe it or not, there are exercises you can do to boost your happiness, to boost your confidence, to boost your morale. And for example, right now, I'm in my an office right now, and by spreading my arms as wide as they can and opening up, that immediately sets off dopamine and endorphins to my brain, and I feel more confident and secure by opening up.
I'm doing it right now. Yeah, I feel it.
Yeah. You feel it too. You feel bigger. Get on your tippy toes and just, you feel bigger. You feel your testosterone raises.
Yeah.
And it was funny what that I'll tell you what that TED Talk talked about. It talked about what true leaders have biologically. True leaders have high testosterone with low levels of what is that stress hormone? I forget. Oh goodness, can you help me out?
Oh,
it's not estrogen. It's
no,
not
no.
estrogen.
We'll just call it the stress hormone. Somebody can Google it.
Yeah. I forget right now, but it's relieving the leaders that we look up to are people who are cool, calm, and collective in times of worry, distress, and misery.
Yeah.
And that is what makes a good leader. That's what makes a good CEO. And God, I'm so grateful we had this interview, because that's what I need to practice right now, because I've just lost my main truck due to an accident that I didn't cause, and I've been stressing out about it. But you know what? I'm going to take it how it is, and I'm going to take the best I can out of it.
There you go. Way to be, man.
Yeah.
What's an internet resource or an app that you would recommend?
All right, this is what I'm going to recommend right now. I'm going to recommend, if you're listening to this podcast, I recommend you get off all social media for a week if you've been on it a lot. And I'll tell you why. I tried that out for a week, and I'll tell you right now that when I was first presented the idea, I thought it was ridiculous. I thought it was impossible. I was like, why would I want to do that? Guess what? I did it for a week, and I didn't want to go back to social media. Social media connections, quite frankly, are fake. We know these people in real life, but when it's a computer screen and we're using our thumbs to communicate, it really dissolves the true connection we have with another human being. And so when we're like going through our news feed and we're seeing people on Facebook and whatnot, it's very unnatural. It's not natural, and it actually hinders our relationship. So by me getting off Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you want to call your social media, I was actually forced to have real face-to-face interactions and value those rather than being online all the time. And I think that's a big problem with our generation. We're constantly on our phone, and today people are experiencing like 10 times the amount of stress as they did in the 90s. Yeah. And I think a lot of it is because how connected we are and how our brains are never turned off because we're always connected. So to reverse your question, I would suggest getting off all apps for a week.
No, that's great advice. And it's interesting. I just read an article recently about how being on social media too much can actually kind of induce depression somewhat, because a lot of times you're looking at what other people are doing with their lives, maybe a new car they bought, or if they're on vacation somewhere, and you start comparing yourself to others. And that's a quick way to just start feeling some self-doubt, maybe some envy.
Resentment.
Resentment. Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I believe it 100%. I believe it 100%.
Yeah. And just the distraction factor too, I get online and I'm friends with a lot of other entrepreneurs. Maybe they're experiencing success in a certain area, and I think, well, maybe what if I just, and to kind of avoid that shiny object syndrome, and if you can just shut out all the noise for a bit and really just,
Oh my God.
Lock yourself
It's so
in a
hard.
space, yeah, and just focus.
It's so easy to talk about it, but actually doing it, man. Yeah. But it's gold. Have you ever done that before?
Yeah, there was a period for about a year I was off Facebook, any kind of social media, while I was in the military. It was kind of required
Oh,
on
wow.
one hand, and so I was
Yeah.
kind of forced into it somewhat.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it was a real blessing because actually I think it was over a year, and man, it was great.
Wow.
Don't regret
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I respect you fully, man, for that. Just real life, in the present. That's amazing.
Absolutely. So Sam, I'm down to my last couple of questions for you here.
Okay.
So what advice do you have for our listeners who are at the point where they're thinking of dropping out of college to become an entrepreneur?
Well, I say do it, man. I say do it, especially if you have that drive and you like proving people wrong and you really think you can. You can always go back to school. You're gonna, and guess what? Entrepreneurs change lives. We change industries. Some entrepreneurs save lives with technology. They create, some entrepreneurs create lives. Like think of the guys who created Tinder.
Yeah.
God, think about how many babies are at result because of that. Geez. Entrepreneurs are what makes America great. It's what makes the world great because, we're the ones who are creating something. It's very easy to fall in line. It's very easy to be told what to do. But when you go off on your own path, it's very respectable, first of all. And also, you can create something that no one else has ever created before. And I'm telling you, man, it's probably going to be one of the best decisions of your life if you chase entrepreneurship full time, because just from even if you fail, the learning lessons you have, the business experience you get, it's just invaluable.
Is there any advice you would have on preparing to leave kind of, before you actually go?
Yeah. Try making money on your own while you're in school. Can you do it? Are you good at it? Can you make money on your own? Can you do the marketing yourself? Can you close the deals yourself? Can you actually make money off of what you're doing? How much are your expenses? How much does it cost to make that money? How much can you save? Are you good at managing money? These are all things you need to think about. You got to be able to manage your money correctly. You got to be able to price well. You need to be able to sell. If you're going to become an entrepreneur, the best type of entrepreneur, unless you're co-founding with somebody who can market and sell, is you need to be able to sell. Because, and I think, God, I've been out of the internet so often lately. Mark Cuban, that's his name. Mark Cuban says the answer to any business problem is more sales. And that's so true. You got to be able to sell. Like I said earlier, it doesn't matter what you put on paper. It doesn't matter what you think you're going to do, unless your product is actually being used all the time, or unless people are buying your services, you have nothing. So, develop a sales personality, or just get some sales experience and just try it. Just go out there and try it right now.
Yeah, and I love your story, Sam, because, you didn't start out with some crazy techie, startup. I mean, you literally just went and were working in people's yards, and that's how you learned how to sell. That's how you learned how to run a business and market. So yeah, that's great. What advice do you have for our listeners who have already dropped out and who are maybe at the start of their entrepreneurial journey?
Swallow your pride and reach out to other entrepreneurs. Swallow your pride and ask for as much help as possible. Just ask for help, because guess what? There's somebody with 20 years experience that you can learn from. And within 10 minutes, that person who has gone through 20 years of entrepreneurship, ups and downs, can tell you the most important lessons they've learned, the pitfalls to avoid. So go out there and make a network. Ask for help. Keep asking for help. Through much counsel, you will win the war. So go out there and just keep asking for help. Don't stop trying. People are going to see that you're trying, and they're going to be happy to help you. So just go out there and ask for help.
Yeah, and successful dropouts, I think I can speak for Sam when I say, you know, he is there to be that person to help you. I'm there to be that person to help you. All you need to do is reach out. So having said that, Sam, what's the best way that people can connect with you?
Go to my personal website, samforline.com. You know, I think my email is up there. It's sam@samforline.com. Also connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. If you want, it's all at Sam Forline, Forline. I'm happy, man. I'm very busy, but if I have a chance, I open messages up and I try to talk, about you, even if it's just, with you, even if it's just some motivation I can give you. So just reach out, man. You can always find me. I try not to hide. So yeah, just ask me a question, man. I'd be happy to connect.
Successful Dropouts, you've been hanging out with Sam and Kylan, learning what it takes to drop out, grind, and succeed as an entrepreneur. For everything we talked about today, head over to successfuldropout.com and type Sam into the search bar, and the show notes will pop right up. And as always, stay hungry, stay foolish. For more information about how to drop out, grind, and succeed, go to successfuldropout.com. I also love questions. If you have a question about anything we talked about today, I want to hear from you. Go to successfuldropout.com and click the Ask Me a Question link at the top of the page. Stay tuned for next week's episode where we talk to Hayden Miyamoto, who dropped out of high school, built an online empire, and basically retired in his 20s. It's going to be awesome. I want to see you there or feel you there. You know what I mean.